morning and welcome to this edition of News Leader on 6. Today is Tuesday, March 24th, 2020. I'm Andrew Todd. In tonight's news, life will be changing for Tullahoma residents as Mayor Lane Curley issues a disaster proclamation for Tullahoma, which includes a city curfew. We'll have details and video on this story on tonight's News Leader on 6.
Have you ever been involved in one of these? And you need one of these? Then look no further than the Russell Barnett Certified Collision Center. With a state-of-the-art facility, aluminum capabilities, lifetime paint guarantee, Russell Barnett Auto Rental, claims assistance from start to finish. We're here to serve you. So stop by and let us show you why we are number one, the Russell Barnett Certified Collision Center.
You made the time and the sacrifice to broaden their horizons, to see their smiles, but mostly to make lifelong memories. We think it's time to do it again, just the two of you. Don't let illness or injury slow you down. The rehab team at Life Care Center of Tullahoma is ready to help you live well.
Welcome back. On Monday afternoon, Tullahoma Mayor Lane Curley held a press conference and invited several city officials to speak to people about the coronavirus. We bring you this clip from where Mayor Curley addresses several questions asked to him by citizens, starting with what is the job of the mayor in the case of an emergency.
In section 20-605 of our Code of Ordinances, the mayor shall be responsible for meeting the problems and dangers to the city and its residents resulting from emergencies of any origin and may issue proclamations and regulations concerning disaster relief and related matters which during an emergency situation shall have the full force and effect of law. If for any reason the mayor is not available, the line of authority and responsibility shall be the mayor pro tem, the city administrator, then the police chief. Each department head shall establish and include as part of the emergency operations plan a line of succession for his or her department. A state of emergency may be declared by the mayor by proclamation if he finds a disaster has occurred or that the threat thereof is imminent, and extraordinary measures are deemed necessary to cope with the existing or anticipated situation. Once declared, the state of emergency shall continue until terminated by proclamation of the city board. All proclamations issued pursuant to this section shall indicate the nature of the emergency in the area or areas affected by the proclamation, the conditions which required the proclamation of emergency, and the conditions under which it will be terminated. And then there list 12 examples of how the emergency can be proclaimed. Well, yesterday, Governor Lee issued an executive order mandating alternative business models for restaurants and gyms. And this is Executive Order number 17, prohibits social gatherings of 10 or more people and enacts the following provisions regarding restaurants, bars, and similar food and drink establishments. Establishments are to exclusively offer drive-through, takeout, or delivery options to support families, businesses, and the food supply chain during this emergency. Establishments may sell alcohol by takeout or delivery with the purchase of food in closed containers to those who are age 21 and up. Gyms and fitness exercise centers are substantially similar facilities are to temporarily close and suspend in-person services until April 6, 2020. A young lady here in town, Lee Fogel, has created a website and social media page to help share information for our community. www.wearetullahoma.com. On it, you will find links to federal, state, and local updates, as well as school links, healthcare updates, and other additional resources for businesses and the like. This site is being continuously updated, so please keep checking for updates. If information is missing or outdated, you can help us make it better by letting us know via a link at the bottom of the information page. In addition, the We Are Tullahoma website has a form for help request related to the shutdown, as well as a form for volunteers. Should you need help or want to volunteer in any way, from phone calls to pick up deliveries or even yard work, walking a dog, please go to the website to sign up. Our community is stronger together. By combining our volunteer efforts, we can manage resources best to help all those in need. Let's work together. Again, that website is www.wearetullahoma.com. I would encourage the small businesses of Tullahoma to go to tullahomatn.gov, click on the COVID-19 resources link. There you will find helpful information about how businesses are adjusting their strategies during this situation. And it's related to the Good Samaritan program. Yes, we are still giving food. While we are not officially open, we ask that anyone in Tullahoma needing food to please call 455-2200 and leave a message. We will return their call within 24 hours and make arrangements.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
When your family suffers the loss of a loved one, the caring and compassionate staff at Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel are standing by to assist you in every way possible. We are proud to support local industry and offer only Batesville caskets. Many funeral homes don't own or operate a crematory. We utilize the only crematory in Coffee County. Your loved one never leaves Coffee County. We can accommodate any need and any budget. Consider our complete pre-need service to remove this burden from your family during their time of grief. Lock in today's low costs and protect from inflation. Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel. Our family caring for your family.
Welcome back. Mayor Curley signed an emergency proclamation on Monday. We have video of him reading the proclamation.
Whereas the virus disease 2019, COVID-19, is a respiratory disease caused by the SARS-CoV-2 virus that can result in mild or severe symptoms, including fever, cough, and shortness of breath, and can lead to serious illness or death, particularly in the case of older adults and persons with serious chronic medical conditions. And whereas COVID-19 is frequently spread through close contact between persons and respiratory transmission, and whereas on March 4th, 2020, the first case of COVID-19 in the state of Tennessee was identified, and several additional confirmed or presumptively positive cases of COVID-19 have since been identified in Tennessee, whereas the spread and identification of additional cases of COVID-19 in Tennessee is likely to continue, and therefore taking proactive steps to prevent a substantial risk to public health and safety is paramount. Whereas on March 12, 2020, pursuant to the authority granted by Tennessee Code Annotated, the Governor of Tennessee, Bill Lee, issued Executive Order Number 14, declaring a state of emergency. Whereas on March 13, 2020, the President of the United States declared a national state of emergency with respect to COVID-19. Whereas on March 17, 2020, the Mayor of Coffee County issued a proclamation of state of emergency with respect to COVID-19. And whereas both federal and state health officials have determined and advised that extraordinary and immediate measures must be taken to respond quickly to COVID-19, to prevent community spread, and to alleviate the suffering of people exposed to and those infected by the virus, as well as those that could potentially be infected or affected by COVID-19. And whereas it is necessary to restrict the activities of businesses and individuals in Tullahoma in order to protect the public health of the citizens of Tullahoma and Coffee County, to mitigate the impact of COVID-19, to bend the curve, and to disrupt the spread of the virus with the goal of saving lives and reducing strain on regional healthcare resources as much as possible. Now therefore, be it resolved that I, Lane Curley, Mayor of the City of Tullahoma, Tennessee, by virtue of the authority vested in me, in light of the continuing emergency to facilitate the response to COVID-19, do hereby proclaim the following citywide. Number 1, citizens of Tullahoma are strongly requested to shelter at home. When individuals must leave their home, they should practice social isolation, staying at least 6 feet apart, and should assume that others are infectious, regardless of whether they exhibit symptoms. Number 2, a mandatory curfew order will go into effect at 12:01 on Monday, March 23rd, 2020. The curfew is effective between the hours of 9 p.m. and 6 a.m., during which all persons in the city of Tullahoma shall remain home. The curfew shall not apply to anyone performing emergency or first responder services, essential government services, law enforcement services, rescue services, safety services, health services, essential utility service, or military services. The curfew shall also not apply to anyone traveling to or from engaging in lawful employment. Number 3, citizens of Tullahoma shall not participate in public or private events, meetings, or gatherings of more than 10 people. All such events or gatherings should be disconnected to the extent possible. Citizens of Tullahoma are encouraged to utilize all means of technology available and to avoid in-person contact. Number 4, for offices, workplaces, and businesses that remain open, employees should work from home where feasible, and employees and their customers should observe precautions advised by the CDC to reduce the spread of COVID-19. Number 5, all businesses not performing essential services shall close their facilities to the public effective at 6 p.m. Tuesday, March 24, 2020. Following are exemptions for essential services exempt from closure: federal and state offices and services and private companies or individuals performing under federal, state, or local government contracts, essential government functions including but not limited to law enforcement, public transportation, and businesses that provide government programs and services, companies providing media, communication, and telecommunication services, grocery and beverage stores, farmers markets, food banks, caterers, convenience stores selling food, agriculture, food manufacturing and processing, and other businesses that directly support the food supply, including but not limited to farming, livestock, and food cultivation. Healthcare, mental and behavioral health, biomedical research, laboratory services, and other businesses that directly support the healthcare industry, but not limited to health information technology, staffing, and supplies. Sanitation and waste removal, energy, water, and sewage businesses and services, pharmacies, medical supply, and other businesses that directly support the drug and medical supply pipeline, vehicle fuel, support and service stations, vehicle parts and repair businesses, and vehicle sales, leasing, and rental businesses, banks, savings and loans, insurance companies, and accounting businesses, and other businesses that directly support the insurance and financial service sectors, real property marketing, leasing, purchase, and sale services, legal and judicial services, laundromats, laundry and cleaning services, home and business structure and equipment repair, hardware, building supply, and appliance sale and repairs, warehousing and storage facilities, construction, architectural, engineering, and surveying services, product logistics, transport and distribution businesses, parcel transportation and delivery businesses, veterinary and pet supply businesses and services, home and business cleaning and maintenance services, educational institutions, landscaping and nurseries, production, distribution, and sale of household consumer goods such as cleaning and personal care products, the educational institutions, public and private K-12 schools, private colleges and universities, trade schools, post-secondary and technical college, but only as needed to facilitate online or distance learning and essential functions. Essential building maintenance and security. Individuals whose job function requires them to be at their work location and who are essential to preserving the information systems, accounting, and human resource infrastructures of any business which is otherwise in substantial compliance with this order. Daycare and child care businesses shall remain open and should prioritize children of parents working for essential infrastructure sectors, businesses, or service providers to the extent practical. Nonprofit entities providing support and assistance in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Other businesses and services that may be determined are essential for the continued safety and security of the city of Tullahoma. Number 6, essential services, especially grocery stores and pharmacies, shall make best efforts to establish hours of operations during which their services are available only to senior citizens or otherwise vulnerable populations. Essential services shall continue to adhere to CDC guidance on social distancing and hand hygiene in the workplace, including encouraging work from home and allowing employees, where possible, to work on-site in shifts to optimize social distances in the workplace where possible. Essential services are encouraged to utilize to the maximum extent possible any telecommuting or work-from-home procedures they can safely utilize. Any local ordinance, policy, or regulation inconsistent with this proclamation is hereby suspended. Then we've got the severability clause. Now therefore be it resolved that this proclamation shall be effective and enforceable at 12:01 on Monday, March 23rd, and shall remain in full force and effect until 12:01 on April 6, 2020, subject to extension as deemed necessary to protect the health and safety of citizens of Tullahoma.
We'll be right back with more News Leader on 6.
It's not invoice. It's not MSRP. It's not Christmas Day, although it may feel like it. It's the lowest prices in Middle Tennessee, period. It's a Stan McNabb Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram or Stan McNabb Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac before these prices are gone forever.
All right, the cat's out of the bag at Carroll Street Liquor in Tullahoma. Now you know where to go if you're planning a get-together and want the ideal wine or spirit. Party planning can be stressful, but at Carroll Street Liquor you'll find everything you need. Mixers, gift sets, and all of your favorite spirit brands. So if you're feeling the pressure to pull off the ideal party, come to Carroll Street Liquor and select among the seemingly endless supply of wines, spirits, gift sets, and more. Your perfect party, it's in the bag with Carroll Street Liquors.
Welcome back. Interim Director of Tullahoma City Schools Scott Hargrove spoke at Mayor Curley's meeting about what the school system is doing during the crisis.
Our food and nutrition team are currently serving breakfast and lunches to our students. All children under the age of 18 and under are being served. Angela Cardwell requested and gained a waiver from the state so we can continue to serve our students over spring break. You can find out the serving locations and the time on the Tullahoma City Schools Facebook page and Tullahoma City Public on Twitter. I'd like to thank Angela and her staff. Our Tullahoma City Schools Maintenance Department and building custodians have disinfected all of our buildings. Shout out to Tim Jensen and his team. Last week, Tennessee lawmakers requested the Education Commissioner, Penny Schwinn, ask for and Tennessee receive waivers for the following. There'll be no state testing this year as far as TN Ready in our elementary and middle schools. There'll be no end of course test at Tullahoma High School. There'll be no state mandated civics test or 11th grade post-secondary readiness assessment at our high school. There'll be no mandated ACT testing for all our THS juniors. This waiver will only be in effect for the current school year. We are tentatively scheduled to start back to school on April 1st. This obviously is a fluid situation, as Mayor Curley mentioned, and can change in a hurry. What does school look like if we are not in session on April 1st? We're going to provide an opportunity for our young learners to continue with their education. Many of our students have already been contacted by their teachers. Elementary schools will be providing learning bundles for their students. No devices, no electronic devices will be sent home. What exactly is a learning bundle? Maybe a passage from a book, projects, written assignments, directions for homework, worksheets, and a schedule for when the work should be completed. The first learning bundles sent out will focus on review materials only. We will produce learning bundles with new learning if the closure extends past a couple of weeks. March 30th and March 31st, our elementary schools will coordinate with parents and guardians on when and how the bundle delivery on April 1st will operate. Middle schools will provide digital learning bundles to students. East and West will also be conducting some virtual lessons. Hard copies of the learning will also be available. Their first learning bundle will also focus on review materials. And Tullahoma High School will mirror our middle school bundles, with the first bundles being available for pickup on April 1st. Again, our schools will be contacting our parents on how and when the learning bundles will be delivered or how to gain access by April 1st if we're not back in session by then. Our Tullahoma City Schools Technology Department will be providing guidance in if your middle school or high school student doesn't have access to a device. So please check out your school's website or call the school. If the closure extends past the April 1st date, the goal of Tullahoma City Schools is to provide the opportunity for the best distance learning possible. We're set to grow a better learner. We are set in growing a better learner for next fall for the 2020 and 2021 school year. And finally, there have been several individuals and groups in our community reach out and offer tutoring for our learners. We'll be coordinating with them in the upcoming weeks. Thank you to all those folks for stepping up in our community. And finally, we're always better together. Thank you.
More News Leader on 6 is coming up in just a moment.
Have you heard the news? Russell Barnett Automotive Family has launched its new website, russellbarnett.com. Very user-friendly. Over 1,000 new and pre-owned vehicles to choose from, online credit applications, hometown auto rental, customer testimonials, trade appraisals, certified collision center, service department scheduling. Too many reasons to mention why I keep asking the question, why buy anywhere else?
Here at Manchester Funeral Home, we know the importance of living and working in our local community because it's those families who we serve during their time of need honorably. We believe in supporting local business and offer only 100% Batesville caskets, the best in the industry and a driver of our local economy. If you want straightforward and fair pricing while working with the people you know, choose Manchester Funeral Home, serving your community since 1932. And pre-planning and pre-funding can be the best gift you ever leave your loved ones. Call us to pre-arrange. Manchester Funeral Home. Our family, caring for your family since 1932.
Welcome back. Also at Mayor Curley's meeting, Darla Sane from the Health Department spoke about coronavirus testing procedures.
If someone in Tullahoma tests positive, where will they go? First off, many people that will test positive will have a mild case and can stay at home. They would just self-isolate, stay in touch with your doctor, stay away from others. So, and then if your symptoms, they grow and they get worse, such as shortness of breath, fever is going higher, contact your doctor. He also touched on, can I go to my doctor to be tested? It is recommended that you call your primary care physician first. If they are unable to, or they've run out of the testing or the sample, the specimen to get a sample, then you can contact maybe your urgent care facilities, or you can call your health department and we can find resources for you. Another one was, are there enough test kits in Tullahoma? First off, we're not testing in Tullahoma. We're collecting samples and sending to various laboratories for the testing. So there's some confusion with that. Sometimes they call the testing kits. Well, testing kits is what the main laboratories use. We use the sample collection kits. So, and this is ever evolving, and so having enough, one of the questions was, do you have enough? Having enough is hard to define because that's ever changing depending on the need and as this thing grows. What is the role of the health department? I think Debbie touched on that a little bit. We're here for the community. We're a resource for you. So she provided you with the numbers and thought of websites that you can go to. If you do not know or you forget, call us. We'd be glad to answer those questions or route you to a place where you can find that information. One of the questions was, will there be drive-through testing in Tullahoma? As far as the health department is concerned, we triage most of the people when they call in. We triage them and assess for symptoms, assess for their needs, whether they can be referred to their primary care physician, but if they're having some symptoms that we would recognize as being in the high risk, we would test them. We usually triage them from their car over the phone, and then we have what we call a kind of a mini drive-through where they can come through to the back, and that's where we would gather the sample. And then another one that he had already touched on, why is testing taking 7 days locally to receive the results when Centennial Hospital is getting results in 3 days? For the health department standard, and we can only speak for like the state lab, and we realize there's other laboratories that are doing the testing as well. But from the state laboratory process, it's usually a turnaround of 48 hours on average.
And don't forget to tune into this week's Living Show tonight at 6:30 p.m., Thursday morning at 9 a.m., and Thursday, Friday, and Saturday evenings at 6:30 p.m. This week's guests include Bonnie Gamble from the Manchester Rec Center, who will tell us about measures they are taking during the pandemic and also let us know about their new parks that's in the works. And Fran Gray will come by to speak about Alzheimer's Tennessee and also read to us some Peter Rabbit tales. All that and more on this week's Living. And be sure to stay with us. We'll have your weather forecast right after these messages.
The Russell Barnett Automotive family has launched its new Owner Advantage program. It starts as simple as your first year's maintenance is included with the purchase. We have 1 year, 3 year, 5 year plans available. Car detailing, car rental, collision repair. Stop by one of our 5 locations and let one of our certified sales staff tell you all about it. The Russell Barnett Automotive Family Advantage program. And remember, my question is, why buy anywhere else?
We're losing it, Doctor.
Not on my shift. Quickly, brush. Roller.
What a transformation. It's gonna be okay.
Okay, nothing.
At Paintworks of Tullahoma, we specialize in domestic emergencies with Martin Senior Paints. You can be the paint doctor too when you treat your home with Martin Senior interior and exterior finishes.
Doctor, we've got another one.
Got you covered.
Paintworks of Tullahoma. Come see the paint doctor, Stat.
Welcome back. We'll take a look at your weather forecast at this time, starting with your weather history on this date. Our record high was in 1929 at 87 degrees. The record low was in 1968 at 19. The average high on this day is 63 and the average low is 40. Stormy in tonight's weather with a low of 50. Clearing on Wednesday with a high of 63 and a low of 47, and partly cloudy skies for Thursday with a high of 76 and a low of 62. And that's our News Leader Report for this evening. We thank you for watching, and we hope all of you are safe out there and you have a great evening. Thanks.